Beautiful soul. If you watch part one, then you already know the message that came through. The realization was simple. Even if you're under attack physically, energetically, right? Emotionally, mentally, spiritually, however that comes through, there is a shift happening that is causing this. So you might be called to use frequencies right now, or yoga, qigong, spiritual baths, salt baths, incense, heavy incense, frankincense, myrrh, Palo Santo, sandalwood, benzoin. All of these will help at this time. So we've already talked about what was to come. I still have the cards out here, but obviously we're going to pull new cards for the rest of this reading. But yeah, I felt called to say all these things, obviously. And I'm also called to go over this in an oracle way, right? So we're going to look at these cards in a way that didn't come out originally, but shows you exactly where we are so that we can move forward. So let's talk about it. So you've rebalanced, okay? The Lovers after some tumultuous heartbreak or dissatisfaction in your life that led to a soul recall, or you coming back to the soul and your true nature and purpose as you leveled up and rose into a higher level and expression of yourself after having to build walls, set boundaries, and defend yourself after many attacks that led to you not only focusing on building a new stable and secure foundation in your life, but also understanding your worth and value while demonstrating your deservedness as you embody the truth in a new strategic way of thinking, in a logical way that led to a new way of approaching the truth, approaching problems, approaching communicating with others, and ultimately approaching a higher understanding, leading to a higher wisdom that you now hold. Okay? So that's where we're at. And those are all the cards from yesterday. All right, so the Tree of Life comes out to let you know to trust yourself. This lets me know you're not trusting yourself enough. It also lets me know that you're not accepting the way that all the things are unfolding in your life. Good or bad right now, things are unfolding in your life to set you up for an alignment that will set you on the path to your fulfillment of your desires and ultimately your true nature and purpose. So that's what's coming through with that. This also, Honshaze Shonin, okay, if you do Reiki, then you know what this is. If you do not, this is the Reiki symbol for distance healing. But when this pops up in a reading, in this oracle reading, well, what it means is that something from your past is affecting the present. It's affecting the way that things are going. It's affecting the way that you believe that things will go. And it's affecting the stagnation that you are feeling at this time because you're not truly trusting in the divine orchestration and unfoldment of your life. Okay. So all of this that we just talked about has led to this, right? The closing of a karmic cycle, and ultimately you embodying a new confidence, a new charisma, a new willpower, a new drive towards your goals, and a new pursuit of your own happiness. You're being called to understand the flow of things and allow things to flow for you. This is also holding the right frequency, right? Doing the right things while also embodying the right vibration, right? Feeling the right way. And ultimately, while you're doing that, you're being called to know that this is the time to move forward. Now is the time to move forward with whatever your plans are, okay? And solar plexus pops up to let you know to release anything that takes your personal power away as you restructure your plan, refine your systems, and come up with exactly how you want to move forward, and then move forward At this time, releasing attachments to old outcomes and narratives that no longer serve you and ultimately take your personal power away and get in the way of the flow of your life. Now, let's look a little bit deeper into what is really trying to be said here, right? Because we've already come to the realization, and the realization was simple looking at these cards, right? The realization is that I'm not this small, right? This is not small energy. None of this is small energy. I don't even need to pick the cards up. None of this is small energy. Okay, not even the heartbreak was small. All right. At the end of the day, the boundaries aren't small. Okay, the defenses weren't small, and the value isn't small. The higher truth isn't small. The understanding and strategy isn't small. The balance isn't small. Okay, and ultimately, your new chapter in life and your new identity isn't small. Right? King of Wands is not small fish popping. King of Swords is not small fish popping. The Hierophant's not small fish popping. Queen of Pentacles isn't small fish popping. These are all major players on the board, and they're all aspects of you. So let's talk about it. Now that you understand that you're not that small, and today the message is going deeper, because once your spirit remembers this truth, right? Everything changes. And this is where the wheel comes in. Because the wheel is turning and things are changing, because all these cards wouldn't be on the board if that wasn't your energy. So the way you see yourself changes. The way you see your problems has been changing. The way you view problems and communicate, right? The way you use that sword to cut through to the truth and get through to what you desire in life. The way you use higher truth to help you see the truth and get through to the next level, the higher level, the soul call, right? And see your worthiness and everything that is meant for you. Like you're starting to see it. The way you see rejection has changed. The way you see fear has changed. The way you see waiting changes, right? The way you see your future changes. Because the moment you stop identifying with the cage, you begin identifying with the soul. And the soul was never small, right? This is soul recall. This is I'm not small. Okay? This is I'm really not small. This is I'm important. Okay? This is I'm very important. And I make things change. Yeah. Alright, so we'll leave the wheel out here because I feel like that's the pinnacle of our reading, honestly. Right? The wheel turning is what got all this energy moving. So we'll leave the wheel here. And we'll let the rest of the cards show the way. The most important thing to remember is that the soul was never small. So take what resonates and lovingly leave what does not. Trust your own discernment. This reading is guidance, not a guarantee. And above all, your sovereignty comes first. So the first thing I hear is you're outgrowing an old identity, right? That's this. This is I've outgrown an old identity. I've outgrown not being seen. I've outgrown not being confident. I've outgrown not being a part of my experience and the predominant creator in my life. I've outgrown not going after my desires. I've outgrown no longer going after my true nature and purpose. I've outgrown not being the leading force in my life. I've outgrown disrespect. Okay? I've outgrown disrespecting myself. I've outgrown letting others disrespect me is also this energy. I've outgrown not standing up for myself. I've outgrown overgiving. I've outgrown overthinking and overwhelming experiences in general. I've outgrown not making the move before it's too late. I've outgrown a lot of things here, right? I've outgrown being timid. I've grown into charm and confidence, standing up for myself and others. Justice, liberation, morality. I've grown into these things. All right, so that's the new things. So that ultimately means you're outgrowing an old identity. It's not merely a life change. This is an identity change, right? That's an identity change. What I just described was an identity change. Many of you have spent years surviving, right? Years adapting. Years becoming smaller than your true nature. Smaller than your gifts. Smaller than your calling. Smaller than your dreams. Smaller than your voice. Smaller than your light. Not because you lacked power, but because survival demanded contraction. And now your spirit is saying no more. Because the version of you that survived the storm is not the version of you meant to remain in it. You survived for a reason. You learned for a reason. This is survival and I learned energy. You healed for a reason. Now you must become for a reason. So what I'm not this small really means is not ego. It's remembrance. There's a difference. Ego says I'm bigger than everyone. Spirit says I have forgotten how vast I truly am. When I hear I'm not this small, I see people realizing my life is bigger than this setback. My future is bigger than this disappointment. My purpose is bigger than this delay. My soul is bigger than this fear. My calling is bigger than this season. My light is bigger than this darkness. And suddenly, the problem that looked like a mountain begins looking like a chapter. Not the whole book, just the chapter. The hidden truth is that many of you have already changed. Let's look at the chakra index, chakra energy oracle here to see how you changed. How has this collective changed? We're going to pull, you know what? There are 16 different kinds of personalities in this world, so they say. So we're going to pull 16 different cards to see how many changes we've got in the collective. Yeah, I think that's fair. So, let me tell you something. You keep waiting to become stronger, I'm going to let you know you're all stronger, okay? All 16 of these card pulls equal stronger. And we're going to see what that is. Number one, the change that came first. Well, money, finances, and power is what came first. Your money changed first. Beautiful. Generosity and abundance. Excellent. It's a good change, right? Let's see what the next one is. Your compassion changed. Beautiful. So some of you, money may have changed. Some of you may have not. Some of you, compassion may have changed. Some of you may have not. I'm going to let you know right now, all 16 of these will be changes that I've seen in myself. All right, so pleasure changed. So I'll read what's on the card because what's on the card shows you the changes, right? Compassion is truly what changed, but that's caring, empathy, acceptance, and gentleness changed, okay? Money changed. That was finances, power, generosity, and abundance that changed, okay? Pleasure changed. Enjoyment, beauty, sensuality, and indulgence changed. Woo! Woo! Let's get to it. Solar plexus chakra change. That was a solar plexus upgrade. Okay, confidence, willpower, personal power changed, and your happiness, emotional balance changed. Wow. Let me make sure I got the right amount of cards. I don't want to get past myself. Hold on. We got 4 already. All right. Emotional balance changed. Stability, harmony, peace, and flexibility is what changed. And fluidity changed. Okay. Look at this. I'm like, these are really my changes. I love it. These are really the changes in the collective too. I'm sure that there's more. Everyone in this video is going to resonate with some of these, okay? All of them don't have to be yours, but at least one will be. So intuition changed. Beautiful. Trust, insight, awareness, and guidance altogether changed. Beautiful. Where are we? We're at 6 cards. All right. 7, visualization changed. Imagination, seeing your future, foresight, focus, experience, and manifestation changed. Beautiful. All right. 7, 8, action changed. Showing up for yourself changed. Movement, perseverance, discipline, and motivation changed. Yes, sure did. 8. All right. Grounding changed. You being with nature, going in nature, finding the true beauty in nature and being in nature, presence and practicality and stability in your life changed. Yep. 10, guidance changed. You being aware of your spiritual guides, you interacting with your spiritual guides, support, love, signs, and direction changed. And you listening changed as well. So we're already at 10. All right. 11, sacral chakra changed. So the sacral chakra changed, and that means your balance, your overall centered groundedness, your sensing abundance in every area of your life, your relationships and intimacy, and your creativity changed. Beautiful. 11. 12. Passion and desire changed. Fun, fulfillment, and joy has changed. Wow, you guys. I'm telling you, this is all my like I feel this way. I really, really do. If I really had to look at all the things that have changed in my life, these are them. But, and for many of you, it might be all of these too. But for some of you, it might be 1 or 2, or it might just be 1 or whatever. But at least 1, okay, up to all of them might be the changes. Divine consciousness change. You're connected to your higher wisdom, your inner knowing, okay, your inner strength, and your spiritual eyes opening have all changed. Interconnection, expansion, okay, oneness, and light have changed. Beautiful. 13. All right, 14 says, excuse me, your mind has changed. It's a lot of you have changed your mind about a lot of things. Let's be clear. I know I have about mine. I know I've changed my mind about a lot of things, right? Openness and flexibility have changed. Your imagination and learning and your mind being open to new ideas has changed. Okay, also you being awakened to your psychic abilities has changed. Your choice has changed. Solar plexus activation. Your free will and your courage and your willpower. And change. Look at that. This is the 14th card, you guys. Let's do 15 and 16. Here we go. Oh, Lord. Look at that. So 15, your intuition, your knowing, your sensing, and your trusting. Now these go together. This is solar plexus energy right here. All this is solar plexus energy. And so that is your intuition, your knowing, your sensing, your trusting, your gut instincts, your free will, your courage, your willpower, your change, and your choice are all based in your solar plexus. All right. The last card, you can guess what it is. I'm just joking. All right. So your self-expression, number 16, has changed. The way you express yourself in the world, the way you communicate, the way you show up, the way you respect your voice, and the way you expect others to respect your voice have all changed. Your vocalization has changed. Your individuality has changed. Your inner voice has changed. And your assertiveness has changed. Okay, so that's your self-expression. Beautiful. So these are the changes. So this is how different we are. Did you hear that? That's how different we are, you guys. So you can't go living from the same narrative anymore, right? Because that's not the same person anymore. just be real clear about it. These cards have let you know, look, that's a whole person out. That's a big shift in our collective. And that's not all of them. That's just all the ones I could actually reach. So I pushed them over there. I'm just joking. I got them. All right. So this, I'm like, oh my gosh. Come here. Is the stack. And then money flies out again to let you know your money's still changing. I love that. Look at this. It's like a deck in itself. That's your personality difference. It's pretty big. Alright. It's a big shift, right? It goes from this, someone who allowed this in their life, heartache, walls, wars, arguments, having to defend yourself constantly, new wounds, scars, all of that. It's that energy. So that's no longer allowed in my life. The tables have turned, and I am embodying the one who stopped this at the gate. Stop this before I ever had to put up these little fake walls, right? This, you better think about it before you cross my boundaries. Now, let's be very clear about what the message is here, because this is really powerful, all these cards right here. Really powerful. You keep waiting to become stronger, but you're already stronger. You keep waiting to become wiser, but you already are, right? You already are. This is I'm already wiser, divine consciousness. Keep waiting to become ready, but you already are. Your spirit knows it. Your intuition knows it. Your higher self knows it. The only thing catching up now is your consciously aware mind. The old identity keeps looking for evidence. The new identity already knows. The energy I see around the collective is expansion, period. We can see it in the way that we've changed. We can see it in the way that things progressed in the tarot. The way a flower opens, the way dawn arrives, natural expansion, not forced expansion. The way spring follows winter, the way a soul begins trusting itself again. I see new confidence, new opportunities, new visibility, new relationships, new purpose, new abundance, new creativity, new peace, but most importantly, a new relationship with yourself. I feel like I always push my mic super far away. And then everyone's like, we can't hear y'all. So at the end of the day, what Spirit wants you to release the identity built around the wound. Right? Release the identity built around this stuff. Okay, I'll transition in backwards, goes in there too, inverted. Release the attachment to the past. Release the emotions associated with the past that no longer serve you. Release the wounds. Release all of the defenses that you have to keep up. Release the daggers in your heart. Call your power back. I mean, ultimately, you already have, right? We're talking. We're in this conversation because you already have. I want to take away from that. Okay. Some of you might still be calling your power back if that's what resonates. I don't know. But at the end of the day, these cards show me that this is my power is back. Okay? This is my power is back cards. We've already seen all the changes. Okay? Make the changes rain. Because at the end of the day, that's a lot of them. That's a whole identity shift. So just release the identity built around rejection. Release the identity built around waiting. Release the identity built around proving yourself. Release the identity built around being overlooked. Release the identity built around being underestimated. Release the identity built around what happened to you. Because what happened to you is not who you are. It was a part of the journey, fair, not the definition of the traveler, is what I'm saying. So beautiful, beautiful radiant soul. I keep hearing, stop measuring yourself by the size of your current circumstances because your circumstances are temporary. Let's call them what they are. Your soul is eternal. Divine consciousness. True intuition. Compassion. It's all the things. Okay? You're not trusting in the divine unfoldment of your soul blueprint. That's why this came upside down, but let me show you what that looks like right side up. All these colors are the different elements that life can bring. Ascending into your soul. So your soul is a start and it has control over the connection and how these things go. When it's upside down, well, you need to start trusting in the way that that goes. So, this is what I'm going to say. Nobody's getting away with anything. I don't know why that needs to be said, but somebody needs to hear that, and so I'm saying it. At this time, you were never created to shrink to fit someone else's comfort. Let me say that. And you were never created to live inside a cage built by doubt. You were never created to spend your life apologizing for your life. And you were created to remember, and remembrance is happening now. So that's the uneasiness, and that is the uncomfortability of it, and that is the way that things are unfolding in your life that may leave you confused in some ways, but ultimately lead to your favor. So this is the turning point. Not because everything changes tomorrow, but because you do. And once you change, everything begins changing around you. That's the important message here. The opportunities, the relationships, the decisions, the standards, the future, the compassion, the self-expression, the intuition, the divine guidance, the connection, the grounding, the desires, the emotional balance, the confidence, the gut instincts, all of it. Because the moment you truly understand, I am not small, the standards in the future change. You stop negotiating the things beneath your worth. You stop chasing what requires self-abandonment. You stop shrinking. You stop apologizing. You stop waiting for permission. You begin living. And so, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful soul. I love you so. And this is the message. And the message is simple, but it is powerful. You are not your fear. You are not your setback. You are not your heartbreak. You are not emotional attachment or associations with outcomes and false narratives or dissatisfaction with the past. You are not your waiting season. You are not your old identity. You're not this small. You are far greater than the version of yourself that learned to survive. And now, the version of you that came here to thrive is beginning to emerge. That's all that's happening here. So you can comment below, I remember how vast I am, because that is the frequency of this message. Not ego, not arrogance, remembrance. And as always, beautiful soul, I love you each and every one unconditionally. If you're not a subscriber, do please consider subscribing. We'd love to have you around. If you're in the end of this message, this entire positive message and all of the power and empowerment that goes along with it belongs directly to you. I love you. I honor you. And I will see you in part 3.